Next on Newsmax Prime, the suspect confesses in the Charleston church murders, and South Carolina's governor calls for the death penalty. Presidential candidate Rick Perry reacts. Then, Bernie Carrick on the lessons of Charleston and church protection. Plus, our political panel flags an issue that has been politicized again in the aftermath of Charleston. Newsmax Prime for Friday, June 19th starts right now. Good evening and welcome to the Friday edition of Newsmax Prime. I'm J.D. Hayworth. Of prime interest tonight, 21-year-old Dylan Roof, who reportedly confessed to the mass killings at that church in Charleston, makes his first appearance in court today, while President Obama is criticized for politicizing the tragedy less than 24 hours after those horrific shootings, calling again for gun control. For more on the story, we're pleased to be joined by Republican presidential candidate and former Texas Governor Rick Perry, who comes to us from Newsmax, New York. Governor Perry, welcome to Newsmax Prime.
Hey, welcome. It's good to be with you.
Thanks very much. Governor, yesterday President Obama seemed to issue a perfunctory note of sorrow and empathy for what had happened in South Carolina, but then he immediately went to the topic of gun control. Is the president striking the right tone by going to a political cause so quickly in the wake of the tragedy?
Well, this seems to be pretty much the standard operating procedure for this administration whenever there is a tragedy. And as long as there's cowardice in the world, we're going to see this type of thing. As long as evil is still pervading this world, we're going to see these types of things. You know, our hearts go out for these individuals who are killed. I mean, totally senseless. And again, we don't know what all the details are. But it seems all too often when there is a tragedy that a political agenda of let's just take people's guns away is the obvious, easy route for those on the left to take. You know, I think this country needs to have a conversation about, you know, why are these events occurring? Is there an underlying mental state? Is this about the ease of which opioids or some other types of drugs? I mean, as a supporter of our military and our veterans, I'm very concerned as I see what's happening in the Veterans Administration and the ease of which opioids are handed out to our veterans. I know these are two very different issues, but I think the president does very easily slide into his political position of let's just take the guns away from the people and that will make the world safer. I don't agree with that from the standpoint, you know, I'm a big believer that if you have citizens who are armed, know how to use weapons, they can protect themselves when evil does show up at their door.
One of your former colleagues, the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, went on record this morning saying that this defendant who has admitted to committing the crime should face the death penalty. Do you agree that capital punishment is the right remedy in this case and others?
Yes.
All right, we've got that cleared up. Short, simple, and direct. Let's move now to the campaign, Governor. The first Republican debate is fast approaching. How important are these televised debates, and will they help you get out your message and your record to the American people?
You know, obviously they are important, and we feel very comfortable we'll be on the stage. I think we're a unique candidate in the sense of having been the chief executive of the 12th largest economy in the world over the last 14 years, a job creation record that nobody can even get close to, particularly in the most difficult economic times since the Great Depression. From 2007 through 2014, Texas created 1.5 million jobs. The rest of the country lost 400,000 jobs during that period of time. Being one of only two people on that stage who've worn the uniform of the country is going to make me a unique individual. It paints my worldview, having worn the uniform of the country as a pilot in the United States Air Force, having been the Commander-in-Chief of the Texas Military Forces and the Texas National Guard, and we've deployed not only into the war on terror, but also for all of these issues that have happened, whether it's hurricanes or whether it's Ebola or whether it's the border crisis. All of that is going to help paint, I think, a very powerful picture of not only executive experience, but an individual who on the foreign policy side is very well versed as well. So I look forward to being on the stage with the individuals to share our very positive vision about the country. I'm a big believer that the best days in America are ahead of us. We're just a few good policy decisions and a leadership change at the top of the best days America's ever had.
You mentioned what distinguishes you from the other candidates in the field. This week, two other candidates joined the field officially, Jeb Bush and Donald Trump. Are there too many people running for president?
Well, I think it's good to have a lot of choices, whether you're picking a health care plan or whether you're picking the President of the United States. I happen to think it's good if you've got a lot of choices. So Americans are going to have the chance to look at all of these individuals. There's some very good talent. They bring a set of experiences in life, and I think we lay them out and we look at the results that they've had in their lives and choose who we want to lead America. After 8 years of this young, inexperienced United States Senator who economically and from a foreign policy standpoint has put America in a substantially poorer position than we were 8 years ago, or will have been 8 years, I think Americans are going to be looking for a seasoned executive who's had a lot of experience of running, in my case, the 12th largest economy in the world with very positive outcomes. And I think that's what Americans are going to look for at the end of the day.
In the time that remains, let's turn to a topic that you just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, and that is the border. Obviously, you have been talking about Texas solutions, but mindful of the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, securing the border and dealing with immigration is, in the final analysis, a federal issue, is it not?
Indeed it is, and that's one of the things that we tried to bring to the President's attention last summer when I met with him. And it became clear that the President was not going to act, and I told him, I said, Mr. President, if you do not secure the border, Texas will. And that was what we chose to do, and we had very positive impact by surging our law enforcement and our National Guard onto the border. We saw a 74% decrease in apprehensions. But with that said, this is the federal government's responsibility. We need a president that respects the Constitution, understands that there are a few things that are actually enumerated in the Constitution, and everything else is left to the states. I respect that 10th Amendment, but I also respect that Constitution. If you elect me President of the United States, the border will be secured.
And we have heard from others, the two who entered this race this week. Governor Jeb Bush said illegal immigration was an act of love. Donald Trump talked about the criminal element coming north from south of our border. Where do you stand on this in terms of the type of people who are coming into the United States illegally?
I don't think anyone, whatever their background may be, a citizen of the United States wants to live in a safe community, wherever that might be. And when you have a porous border, I'm in New Hampshire talking to sheriffs and to county attorneys, and they say, Governor, thank you for securing the border because we're being impacted as far away as New Hampshire by individuals who are coming into this country illegally and committing crimes against our citizens. Securing the border is a basic activity that the federal government is supposed to do so that the citizens feel comfortable that they can live in safe communities. And we know how to do that. You put the personnel on the border, you have the security fencing that's in place in the metropolitan areas in particular. The thing that's really missing, JD, is the aviation assets flying from Tijuana to El Paso down to Brownsville, whether it's fixed wings or drones or what have you. We have the technology to look down 24/7 in all types of weather and identify the activities that are occurring and respond to obviously suspicious activities or clearly illegal activities with quick response teams. At that particular point in time, you put those three things into place and the border can be secured.
Governor Rick Perry, we thank you for your time. We look forward to visiting with you again very soon.
Thank you, JD. Yes, sir. So long.
And a reminder, if you're fed up with the federal government, get former Texas Governor Rick Perry's book, Fed Up, and see how he intends to make changes. For details on this special offer, go to newsmax.com/fedup. And Newsmax Prime will continue right after this.